Ben Higgins in shock over cruel Bachelorette producers. Ben Higgins was among the Bachelor Nation alums tuning in to the Bachelorette season finale. The former Bachelor star took to social media to share his shock and disgust at the producers for their cruelty toward Jen Tran. Keep reading for more details. Ben Higgins in shock over cruel Bachelorette producers. It was bad enough that Jen Tran had to give sordid details of her split from Devin Strader. She revealed that he ended their engagement in a short phone call and spent the time up until after the final rose special partying like the breakup didn't bother him. She also accused him of following Maria Jorges on social media. But things got worse for Jen. She was basically forced to watch as her proposal to Devin played in the background. The studio audience and viewers cried with her when the footage showed her asking Devin to marry her. Viewers then took to social media to call out the reality show for the disgusting move. Ben Higgins was among the horrified viewers. Jen should have gotten up in the middle of proposal showing and gave everyone the peace sign. Walk out of that studio and never turn back. Absolutely cruel and unnecessary to make her watch that back. Cannot believe it, he wrote on Twitter. He added that it was cruel and unnecessary to put her through that. But he wasn't the only Bachelor Nation alum who spoke out on social media about the finale. Ashley Agnetti predicted that Jen Tran would leave the Bachelorette single, but she didn't mean like the way it went down. She speculated that Jen would realize neither of her suitors was right for her and not get engaged to anyone. She took to her Instagram story to vent about Devin. Ashley said that he grew on her as the season progressed, but now she feels grossed out by him and his behavior. Bachelor Nation's Andrew Spencer reacts. Andrew Spencer, who was a contestant on Katie Thurston's season of The Bachelorette, agreed with Ben Higgins. He wrote that if he had been in the same situation as Jen, he would have walked off stage. Katie Bigar and Zach Shallcross demand justice. Katie Bigar watched the season finale with her fiancé, Zach Shallcross. The two got engaged during season 27 of The Bachelor. She shared Zach's reaction to Jen and Devin's breakup on her Instagram. Zach looks absolutely done with Devin in the snapshot. Katie Bigar added the hashtag. Ben Higgins, the affable former Bachelor and fan-favorite contestant of The Bachelorette, was always known for his charming smile, down-to-earth demeanor, and open heart. But beneath that calm exterior, a storm of emotion was brewing. A storm that would culminate in his shocking revelation about the producers of the beloved reality show that catapulted him to fame. For years, Higgins had remained silent about the inner workings of The Bachelorette, choosing to focus on his post-show life, career, and love interests. However, recently, a crack appeared in his well-polished armor, revealing a side of the story no one expected. In a candid interview, he expressed shock and disbelief over what he described as cruel treatment by the show's producers, a machine he had once trusted. It started innocuously enough. Ben recounted the months leading up to his Bachelorette debut. A small-town guy with big dreams, he had jumped at the chance to appear on national television, eager for a shot at love. "You think it's going to be this fairy tale experience," he said, shaking his head as if still processing the aftermath. "But what they don't tell you is how much they can manipulate your reality. The bright lights, the luxurious dates, the whirlwind romance, everything seemed so perfect. But Higgins now believes that much of it was an illusion, expertly crafted by producers pulling the strings behind the scenes. I was a pawn," he confessed. "They have these narratives they want to push, and if you don't fit into that box, they'll twist the situation until you do." Ben's journey to love had its highs and lows, moments viewers across the country connected with. But behind every moment was a carefully constructed plotline, he revealed. "I remember specific scenes where they'd provoke me, get me emotionally worked up, and then suddenly we're filming," he recalled, visibly emotional. "It felt like I wasn't allowed to be me. I had to be the version of me they wanted." The producers, he claimed, would create drama where there wasn't any, encourage conflicts that felt unnatural, and make contestants feel like they were on an emotional roller coaster. "They'd isolate you," Ben said quietly. "They'd make you think you were alone in your thoughts. They made me question my decisions at every turn." One particularly dark moment stood out in Ben's memory. It was the night of a crucial rose ceremony. "I was exhausted, mentally and physically drained," he admitted. The producers kept me up for hours before the ceremony, questioning me, planting seeds of doubt about the women, and pushing me to make choices I wasn't ready for. I was so confused. As Ben stood under the glaring lights, the weight of the roses heavy in his hand, he felt the full force of the manipulation. They knew who I wanted to keep, but they wanted me to reconsider. There was one contestant they pushed me to send home, someone I had a strong connection with. I could feel them nudging me like they were trying to steer my heart in the direction they wanted. The final decision, Ben recalled, left him in shock. I handed out the last rose, and it felt like I was watching someone else's life unfold, he said. They had convinced me that the woman I had a deep connection with wasn't right for me, and I believed them, or at least I didn't trust myself enough to challenge them. Looking back, Ben wonders if his true love story was cut short that night. I'll never know what could have happened if I had followed my heart instead of the narrative they fed me, he said, a flicker of regret in his eyes. That's the hardest part. The cruel nature of the manipulation didn't end there. Ben described how producers would manufacture rivalries between contestants. There was one guy, let's call him Jake. We got along fine off camera, Ben recalled. But the producers would pull us aside separately and say things like, Jake's been talking about you behind your back, or he doesn't think you're serious about finding love. It got to the point where, on camera, we were at each other's throats. But off camera, we were just confused, wondering how things escalated. Even the most romantic moments, the ones that made fans swoon, were not immune to the producers' meddling. Ben shared that many of the grand gestures, the sunset helicopter rides, the candlelit dinners, were meticulously timed and scripted. It's not that I didn't feel those emotions, because I did, Ben clarified. But they were heightened by the producers. They'd tell you when to lean in for a kiss, when to say something heartfelt. It was all choreographed. After the show, when Ben returned to the real world, the emotional aftermath hit him hard. I felt lost for a long time, he admitted. I had spent so many months being told what to feel, who to connect with, what my story was supposed to be. When it was all over, I didn't know who I was anymore. The revelation that The Bachelorette wasn't the magical love story he once thought was a harsh reality for Ben to confront. I still believe in love, he said, but I don't believe in the fairy tale the show sells anymore. It's not real, and that's what hurts the most. Despite the emotional toll the show took on him, Ben holds no ill will toward the other contestants or even the women he met on the show. We were all in the same boat, he reflected. We were all just trying to navigate this crazy experience the best we could. As for the producers, I don't think they're bad people, Ben said thoughtfully. I think they're just doing their job, but that job can be cruel. And I wish I had known that before I signed up. In the end, Ben Higgins' time on The Bachelorette may not have ended in the fairy tale he envisioned, but it's clear that he's learned a lot about himself, about love, and about the reality behind reality TV. It's a show, he said, a bittersweet smile crossing his face. And sometimes the show must go on, no matter the cost.